welcome to another week of Star Citizen News. I wanted to take a moment, just real fast, before we start this one, to note that Jake Acapella from CIG has noted that there is a new Spectrum Ask Me Anything that is in the works, which is going to be different than their usual Q&As on Star Citizen Live. It will be several different folks that are working on dynamic events in Star Citizen, such as Xenothreat and Ninetales Lockdown, and they're still looking to lock down a date for that event and of course, a time on that date. But rest assured, when they do, you'll all know about it. That was just posted today, this afternoon, my time, so less than a couple hours ago if you're listening to this on Monday. So without further ado, let's dive right into this week in Star Citizen. You'll note that the format is a little different. Give me some feedback if you're a little surprised by the feedback, by the design, and if you appreciate it or don't appreciate it. I was trying to try out different clean looks. I'm probably going to change the color background of this, but I'm trying the reader design in Edge to make it easy to view on a mobile platform. So, This Week in Star Citizen was released today, Monday, August 16. We have a lore post, which they have not announced which lore post it will be yet. But the narrative team shares a new Congress, now post focused on debate around the Imperator Addison's nominee to be the next ambassador to the Xi'an Empire. So it'll be really interesting to see what the new Imperator in town is going to decide as their foreign policy ambassador to an important ally, the Xi'an. So we'll see how that goes, and this is probably a brand new lore post. It is listed as TBD, but in this more detailed narrative from Wayne CIG, you can see that they actually write this little topic here. I'm very curious. I think it's a brand new lore post. It's the first we've seen in a while that's as part of the weekly releases. And then on Wednesday, we have the launch of the Free Fly event, so be sure to get your friends involved. And if your friends and future, hopefully, org mates are not already with accounts, be sure to remind them that you have a referral code. It's important because by the you have till the end of this month where you can get a Dragonfly with LTI, and so can they. As a reminder, if you have multiple friends who have it, you only get one Dragonfly. Each one of them will get one. And then, of course, you'll get the usual bonuses for the different ranks and privileges of the referral process. So just bear that in mind. And one more thing to keep in mind is that you cannot gift a referral. The referral is not allowed, and you cannot put it in buyback. You cannot melt the referral that you get. In this case, it's a Dragonfly with the Coalfire skin as well. And basically, it's an LTI token that you cannot do anything with other than just use it or CCU it to a new ship. And that is my recommendation to everyone who gets these, to look hard at the ships just above the Dragonfly in cost and consider a CCU directly to one of them. Because the Dragonfly is not worth that much in game, but it has a lot of value from the store side of things. And that means you could get a small ship and retain that value that you've now gained in your account and have something that's far more useful. And nobody says you have to apply the CCU on day one. You could apply the CCU weeks or months down the road when you're tired of the Dragonfly or you're looking to get that expansion. Bam, you can apply it right away. So the annual sale's right around the corner. You'll have plenty of options. The Reliance are good options. The 300 series, like the 325, 315P, are great examples of options that you might want to consider. So the 325A being a combat vessel, interceptor sort of. The 315P being for exploration. And once it gets its new tractor beam, it's going to be a very attractive utility-based ship with good scanners. So really cool stuff. I'd also recommend taking a hard look at the Pisces if you want to spend a little bit less and still have, you can gain 3 seats, a couple SCU storage with a nice little ramp to get in and out very quickly. For box running, that's a fantastic way to make some money. And there are lots of great options in that category. Lots of great options. And of course, I know people in the feedback usually mention the Cutlass. Yes, if you are well healed, the Cutlasses are great examples, especially the black right now or the blue. I would not recommend the red, as it's about to get nerfed. That's kind of where we're at on Wednesday. Big changes. We've got the free fly event. We've got the referral codes. Make sure you have your friends in line for that. And also, just even friends that are old friends that haven't been on Star Citizen for a while. This will probably be a time where they're going to launch a new live patch. And speaking of which, we have a PTU AA patch we're up to now. So this is the first time in a few patches that we've reached double-digit patch notes. But we have hit AA. There is tons of fixes. I'm going to cover them. And I would strongly suspect a lot of the fixes that are sticking will make it to Wednesday for that free fly event to make sure it's as smooth as possible. From what I'm hearing from a lot of folks and from my own personal experiences, 30Ks and a few other issues are impacting gameplay right now on the live. There have been some hot fixes snuck in, and I'm very appreciative of the CIG team taking their time to do those. But on the PTU, I'm having a much smoother experience. So I strongly expect that the patches will suddenly make it to live before or during Wednesday, probably Tuesday night, before the free fly, a few hours before the free fly event would probably be the best time to think about that. And if you are frustrated with all the crashes and you're tired of doing the testing, what I'd recommend is go over to the PTU or wait until Wednesday. Yes, I know it's going to be a little crazy with the free fly event, but it's going to be a lot of fun and it should be a lot smoother for everybody, even with all the extra people involved. I've seen that the PTU, even with a lot of folks stacked up at Xenothreat during the playtest last weekend, it was a heck of a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to more of it. Free fly events have always increased our numbers of our backer community and really reinforced folks that have already been in the community to really bring in their new friends and bring in old folks that may not have a lot of ships to work with or just forget, or stepped away from the game for a while. So Thursday, we'll still be in the free fly event, and there will be a new Inside Star Citizen, taking a look at the hospitals around the verse and exploring scenes of ship's gold standards. So I would expect a bit of a hint maybe at the Connie's gold standard is coming up. That's the golden, sometimes referred to as a golden pass if you remember that, but it's gold standard is the official term. And hopefully the 600 eyes. Those ships have really badly needed an upgrade. And if the rumors are true about a 400 or 404 or whatever you want to call it, the 400i, the 404 are true, then it would highly likely that those assets are being improved. So there you would already have the 600i Explorer and Touring both being worked on. The Touring needing a lot more work than the Explorer. I'll also take this moment to mention that there is quite a few folks who have reached out to me about a few different types of ships. Most recently, the Genesis Starliner. Before that, there was suggestions about checking out ROC designs for medical slick type work. All sorts of different ships. Starfarer improvements. I'm going to try to do a roundup video at some point soon where it kind of takes a lot of the player aspects and factors those in. What would we love to see in a golden pass, golden standard, whatever you want to call it, and go through it. With the Genesis Starliner, I purposely chose, even though it was older, the CIG content from 2015 whiteboxing because it showed everything that CIG was promising with the concept and what were the future iteration considerations, especially the military one with the medical stuff, for example. If I just showed you what players have, which some of the things are incredible, layout-wise and consideration for form, function, evacuations, and everything else, they're far, far surpassed what the whiteboxing discussion was. But they're not CIG promised things. So that's kind of where I went with that. I purposely chose the most recent thing that had the most detail from CIG, and it happened to be from June 2015. So that's kind of what I wanted to take a moment to mention. And I do want to give a nod to players that are stepping up and putting up suggestions, both on the Spectrum forum threads, and also in YouTube and in some of the Discord servers that I've seen them in. I really appreciate your work, and please keep getting them to me. I'm going to keep consolidating them and hopefully have like 6 or 7 of the best ones in a video and kind of detail a little bit of discussion about each and try to give them a little bit of the nod they deserve, highlight them, and hopefully get more attention back on them because some of them are a little older and that's fine with me. It's something just because it was a good idea 3 years ago, it's probably a good idea now. And if there isn't, I'll mention why. Hey, most of this is a good idea. This would probably need to be updated, but it's still a good idea. It's a good concept. Um, I think with the 600i videos, I did a great job with that. I'd like, at least that's what people were telling me. Um, I was covering what people had suggestions for the 600i's. I hope to see more information from the devs that have taken that information and ran with it for gold standards during their passes on the 600i series. The 600i Explorer, of course, is in a better position. We can all agree on that, or most of us can agree on that. But it still needs some work, the back especially, and the flow of the ship and how the scanning stations are. Yeah, I know too. I see, but yeah, the armor locker. But I think overall it's got good bones. I think the touring model can be there. It's just the flow and the feel of that VIP section. And finally, I agree with many folks that there needs to be a clinic variant of the 600i. That would really be a nice thing, especially with the medical pushes. But that would be beyond a gold standard push. So I'm curious to see if that would ever happen, or at the very least, I doubt it would be soon. So I'm sorry to say that, but unless short of a surprise reveal, although they did mention that they have a variant in the works for a quote popular ship. So who knows? I don't know. I'm going to try to avoid creating hype for something I have nothing to back up with. So I'm going to stop there. Friday, they're still listing it as the Star Citizen Free Fly continuing because the Free Fly is an ongoing thing. It's going to be a long-term type event. And also on Friday, more importantly, there will be the Star Citizen Live. You have the Subscriber Vault update and the weekly newsletter. Now, the weekly newsletter has been getting pretty good with their teases about different content coming up. I've really been appreciating some of the work they've been releasing. I wish the Subscriber Vault is something where they would start releasing publicly content where they, once the new content comes in, set a time period of, okay, 6-month-old content and beyond is now public. So every time there's a new release, the 6 month ago content from that week's update gets released to the public, because there's a lot of stuff in the Subscriber Vault I would love to touch on, but it's kind of like this gray area type situation where I really don't want to cover it too heavily or show pictures from it or some content from it and deprive CIG of subscriptions. I still stayed at this time period that I really wish Subscriber was a little cheaper, and I wish the lower plan seems to be the more desirable one to me, but I'm not going to weigh in on that too much. I will say that Star Citizen Live should be pretty good. We can look at Star Citizen Live with members of our game development team from New Turbulent Studio. The show will be a broadcast on the Star Citizen Twitch channel. We will follow up details soon. I covered a little bit from a Star Citizen Live on one of my recent videos. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the Twitch recording because I wasn't home. But I'm glad that they do release it afterwards on YouTube. So if you missed the Twitch variant, you can go on to YouTube and catch the show. I do recommend, if possible, catching the Twitch one. The live video has a lot more energy. You can actually see the direct questions in most part. Between that and going on Spectrum, you can capture all the questions, and you can really see where people's minds were at, and not the paraphrased version that is talked about between the devs, Jared, and the team. So, I think that's really interesting. I'm glad to see a new lore post. I'm hoping that it is something new. It'll be fun to see how kind of start fleshing out Imperator Addison. From multiple people I've talked with, once again, this is not real world stuff. This is in game, so it's fair game for me. But Imperator Addison is like kind of at odds almost with the rest of the hierarchy that has long been under Costigan's family, with the Costigan family not having their progression to their son. It creates an interesting world for what we're dealing with in the UEE hierarchy. Addison may start seeing resistance to her ideas, and some of the things may have funding withdrawn by the powers that be, the Congress, to avoid the Imperator having too much sway. And maybe that's maybe it's a good thing. Maybe Addison having a breath of fresh air and then having that good lively check of having a Congress that is able to kind of, whoa, how far are you going with this? We need to kind of come to a compromise here, is a good thing. But I'm going to withdraw, just kind of enjoy kind of grab the popcorn and enjoy this and kind of see where we go. And no, I'm not telling you which imperator I voted for. So let's kind of call it there. I guess I'll mention that most of the contests are wrapping up. If you haven't already got your work in, be sure to get that in. The Wish You Were Here contest, the most valuable one, is on August 18th. It ends at 11:59 Pacific time at night. So 23:59 hours on Pacific. I think if you're going to get it in, you're going to get it in. Don't wait. I will mention that isn't too bad considering Wednesday is the free fly event, and like I said, Tuesday and Wednesday will probably be when they have a live patch. So without further ado, let's go digging through some patch notes. So what I have on the left is the latest patch notes from PTU AA. And from the right, I have the PTU second to the newest patch notes, Z. So 314Z, 314 AA. AA on the left, Z on the right. So what we can take a look at is a lot of the same issues. Testing focus is the same. A lot of the same known issues. The 16,008 error, which we've seen for many patches now. We've seen the after connection time 30K bad token. They did seem to pull the logging out from bed issue is no longer in the known issues list. So that's really a great thing to fix on the AA patch that is just from today. So that's a major blocker that has now been removed. Once again, this is all in the PTU. Star Citizen may randomly crash. This has been something that's been ongoing when you hit the launch game button, and they mention a couple different products that may be causing the outage. Acronis Active Protection, Komodo, Sonic Studio, and they mention contact RSA support if the issue persists. But I would obviously try to close these products and then see if it fixes it before you go contacting CIG, because that's all they're going to tell you to do. Elevators or environment content will occasionally be missing in the PU, was on the previous patch, and it's still here. Players are unable to leave a party from the main menu, and there is a workaround that involves going into Star Marine and then inviting and leaving party. So you go into Star Marine multiplayer, you invite someone, then you select leave party, then you exit to main menu, and that seems to fix it. And that's still an ongoing glitch, and that's still an ongoing workaround for that issue. Window positioning on ultra-wide monitors. Ultra-wide monitors when you're in a vehicle is still an issue. Med pens still occasionally have no effect. Swapping FPS weapons drops or removes the original weapon, still an issue. Mining commodities data to scan display causes incorrect percentage value, still an issue, unfortunately for miners, which is a big part of this game right now. The player may become unable to open Hammerhead turret doors, leaving them trapped inside, still an ongoing issue. This has been something that's been going on for many patches, all these, really, multiple patches. Constellation Andromeda Copilot unable to target while in missile operator mode. It's unfortunate. The elevators at Grim Hex are still failing. Search mission, such as shipment and lost in cargo, do not update once the player has collected the cargo box. Still an issue. One mention. The elevators at Grim Hex have a workaround that is a 0G workaround. I have a tour of the Grim Hex I'm going to put in a card at the end of this video that shows you the different routes you can get around the building. But basically the gist is wear your spacesuit, or at least an undersuit in your helmet, like the default setup when you spawn. If you haven't changed anything, you can go to any of the airlocks and just go up and down outside and then come back in. Unable to complete box delivery missions in Area 18 as kiosk still rejects boxes. And the legendary hide-and-seek world champion, universe champion, the Demon Fang combat knife asset is still missing from the game. God, I love the Demon Fang combat knife. When entering the pilot seat of the 100i, the animation may not complete, and then you get stuck facing backwards, which is no good. Once again, for this, if you can't hold down F and then look for the exit key to your left or your hard right, what you want to do is hit Y. So if you can't see it on your left or your right, hit Y, and that should get you out of the seat. Try it a couple times, and then it should get you out. Occasionally, the quantum drive may not work, and then other spool up for no cause. And when it doesn't work, that version, the workaround is to look away with the B key still active, and then look back. So it still's quantum spooled up and everything else, and then it looks back. It has to recalculate, and then you hold down B. I've mentioned before that didn't seem to help me on the one situation because I had like a party member and the planet at the same point, like right near each other. And what I found I had to do after trying that trick multiple times, I ended up having to warp to like range point. So I just warped to like, I think MICEL1 or whatever, warped to there, and then went. So that would be my workaround if the workaround doesn't work. Pretty cool that they listed the major bug fix on its own. Kind of takes a little bit of the shine off of videos like this, but I'm glad to see the community be informed. Fixed an issue that could cause players to get an infinite load when logging back in after using bed logouts. So they listed it as part of the major bug fixes. And then on the previous patch, they have a major bug fix area that's well listed too. Fixed an issue causing players to become stuck and invisible after leaving prison. That'd be really a nightmare. Can you imagine waiting through prison or working to shorten the prison sentence or escaping or something, and then you become stuck and invisible on top of already all the problems, so you have to relog? Oh my goodness. Players should now be able to insurance claim ships on the ASOP terminal. Note, this was hot fixed on live. As I mentioned, there was multiple hot fixes. I am glad to see some documentation. It's a shame it's not its own thread or edited onto the live patch, which it may be. I have to double check that thread. Actually, I haven't checked it since yesterday, but it's great to see that. Fixed an issue that allowed players to create multiple amounts of refinery jobs from the same materials. So they basically shut off item duping. Hopefully people weren't abusing that too much. So a lot of good fixes the past two patches. I can't wait to see all of these make it to live. So far, one has made it to live, where you can claim your ships on the ASOP even if it was broken. That's great. Technical, once again, fixed 2 client crashes, fixed 3 server crashes on the previous patch, and then today's fixed an issue causing entities to spike network bandwidth usage to many times their normal rate. So I'm glad they fixed that. And once again, I'm glad to see that level of detail in these notes. Fixed a backend memory service leak for yesterday's, and today's fixed backend service memory leak. So they fixed 2 different memory leaks over the past 2 days. And they had a backend service timeout fix on today's. Yesterday's made additional optimizations to further help desync issues. So a lot of hard work is going into these patches. I'm glad to see it. I can't wait to see more work get done and see these out the door. I'm glad also to see that Live got the hot fix for the ASOP terminals, because that's a real game ender for people that only have a couple ships or a couple favorites. Having your insurance claims not be able to be done also can worry people. Hey, I've at least had one person mention that to me in the past about how if I break the law, am I going to lose my LTI or lose my 10-year insurance, etc. And it's like, no, does that not even matter yet. Everyone basically has LTI until the day that the game ships, and then your timer starts on your insurance, and only then, which is years from now. But also, you cannot get in trouble for committing a crime in an alpha. So you will always be able to claim your insurance, as far as we know right now. Even if you do bad things, don't sweat it. If anything's happening, it's because the server's having an issue. And if you continue to have that problem, be sure to file something with CIG after checking the issue council and taking a look at videos like this, hopefully, or patch notes at the very least, and just see if it's already been something people are experiencing. So that's all I have for today. Some very exciting stuff for this week coming up in Star Citizen. And I would say that out of everything, the new Imperator discussion kind of heating things up a little bit in the lore background, and kind of new content for the lore folks, that's directly going to the entire community is very exciting. Can't wait to see the results from the Wish You Were Here contest. There's already a few in that thread. Um, get your stuff in. I can't wait to also see Star Citizen cosplay contest. Even though it's digital, it's still very exciting. I have a friend who's actually doing that contest, so I wish I had that talent and had the patience and everything to be able to do that. More power to everyone who's involved with that. And yeah, so we'll see how this goes. I can't wait to see you all during the Free Fly event. I'm going to be as active as I possibly can during those time periods when I'm not working. And y'all have a great day and fly safe.